wet foot, dry foot. I believe that was sort of a step in the direction.
Wet foot, dry foot. I don't think I ever heard of that.
Well, if a Cuban would come here, however they would get here and claim asylum, then they were allowed to stay once they touched land. And that's why a lot of times you'll see people stopping them in the water on their way over, because if they were still in the water, they would go back. But President Obama has now said that that isn't allowed, and put that into action. And Cubans still, try to get here because it's a better way of life.
We have the American dream.
Yes, that's right. And they have so many relatives and friends here that they know what they're missing out on.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Canadians and Europeans and other countries have gone and been tourists in Cuba for many years. When Fidel stepped down, he actually hated the idea of tourists because he said they just bring their trash here.
Oh, he could be right. I don't know.
That's true. But his brother was a little more open about things, and I feel he also saw the way to their future and their economy was to invite people in. So Canadians and Europeans have been visiting there for many years. And they have the structure they have resorts. I know they don't have the infrastructure that we do in our cities. And that is one of the things you'll hear about on TV all the time, about how, well, they don't have the hotel space. No, but they're building. The last time we were there, we couldn't believe all the cranes working in Havana, and when we were out visiting in some of the resort type areas, they're very busy building. There's a lot of things that they're working on right now. So they're preparing for their future. They're hoping that will continue to come. But even if we don't, we Americans think we're the only ones who make the world go round.
Very good. Very well put. Yes. We don't understand the different cultures, and a lot of these countries are very similar with some of the things you've told me today. I know I'm very involved with Africa, and some of the things are quite similar. It's a different respect, just like the respect for their leader passing, or their former leader passing away. They mourned him for a long time, and they had the pig roast. In Africa, when somebody dies, you buy a pig and you cook it. Pig
roast is very typical food for Cubans. They love pig roast. It's an expensive thing for them, so their main diet is rice and beans.
Oh, I was going to ask you what kind of food they...
Yeah, on festival days and important days, definitely they get out the pig and roast it. But they have squash, and they have a similar diet to what we would see in Hawaii, that kind of food.
Okay. Fruits.
Yes, lots of fruits, papaya and guava. I have some pictures showing in the background of the places that we've been, and the food, the culture, some of the dancing. That's what we loved, was hearing the music.
Oh, yeah. We played some salsa music before we came on, didn't we?
Their music, I think, is wonderful. And we bought many of the artists that were playing in the restaurants. We buy their CD from them because it helps them to raise money. But also, then we can come back and hear the music again and again.
I know you said you've fallen in love with the people, and you want to go back to see. Now you have friends over there, but what other things compels you to want to come back to Cuba?
Well, it is a very different environment than ours, very different culture. The best time to travel, I will tell you, is October to April.
Because the weather, what about,
It can be so hot and so humid. You think Charlotte's bad? It can be very bad. May to September is hurricane season. So when you go, plan your trip from October to April. High season is January, February, March. if you're in Havana, we were in Havana, the first trip was in the end of January, and the waves were coming up over the Malecon onto the road. I mean, it was windy and chilly at night. I had only taken like one sweater, and so I bought more of they crochet this sort of like a fishnet, and I put that over my clothes to stay warm at night because it got chilly. But it can be so hot any other time, so you really want to go prepared, you know, with your bottled water, and keep hydrated, wear your hat and your sunscreen. But my recommendation is to not book it during those seasons from May to September. They actually kind of shut down themselves because they don't have air conditioning like we do. July and August are their down times. They're times that they might go to the mountains to visit their family, or go to visit their family, or the kids are out of school, so they may not work during that time. Things are more, shut down, and that's something to keep in mind.
Those are good tips for people, because I know people are saying, well, I think I'll go to Cuba. It's not that far away. It's not like going to Africa where you have a 15-hour flight.
Exactly, the time change. We're in the same time zone.
Oh,
and let's see, we left about 9 o'clock in Charlotte and was there before noon in Havana the last time I went. So that's very fast. If you're in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, which a lot of the flights do take off from Florida, it's like a 90-minute or 45-minute flight, but you have to arrive at the airport early to check in, because it's still considered an international flight, and that's something you want to remember.
And you have to have a passport.
You still have to have a passport, and you have to have a visa that is special for your travel to Cuba. And people will ask me, well, how do you get that? The airlines, as soon as you sign up for a flight, then they have another vendor that connects with you, and then you can get your visa, and that's when you sign your affidavit, and they send you a visa. It's 2 parts to it. It actually says tourist visa, but that is just what they call it.
Yes.
And you have to have that filled out before you enter the country, and then you have to have that when you come out. And they require health insurance, but that's included in the plane ticket, because the U.S. knows that that's a requirement, so that's included in the flight. And also, when you sign up to go, they charge an exit fee, because they were finding people would come down to Cuba and run out of money, but they charged you an exit fee to get out of the country. So now that's included in the
so you get back out.
So you get back out, because people would arrive down there without. It's hard for me to believe people would arrive without money. But we're so used to using ATMs that we just wait until we get to the country, and then we go to the exchange counter and get our money. And my first tour guide said you wouldn't believe how many people would arrive without cash, and these are world travelers, but Cuba's different. So definitely you want to make some plans before you go ahead of time, and always make sure you have hotels and rooms prepared, because there are so many of us going now that they get booked up, and even like months ahead of time. And if you want to go, make sure that you're booking those rooms way ahead of time. In my opinion, you can't start too soon on that.
Right.
And everything's getting very expensive too. People think, oh, it's like Mexico, it's cheap. No, the hotel rooms at the nicer places, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, those will go anywhere from $150 to $400, $500 a night.
Wow.
And the Casa Particulars, which are individual owners, they may run like $35 a night or $45 a night. Well, as people become aware of those are going to start getting booked, and their prices are, I've already noticed that the prices are going up.
Well, you have friends you can probably stay with now, right?
You can't stay with friends.
What?
It's not allowed. If I were to stay with a friend, the government might think I'm paying them, and they don't have a business to do that. if you have family there, like if I was a Cuban American and I had family there, I have to apply for a Cuban American visa. I have to.
Oh my.
There are different rules, so that's a very good question.
Okay.
You can get your friends in trouble if you try to stay with them.
So what would you want our viewers to know?
I say go. However you can, whatever you feel comfortable, I say book a trip and go. Go meet the people. Go get to know them. Let them get to know you. And if you really want to help a culture, build relationships. If you really want to help people to change or to have hope, my friends there say, you have given me a new perspective.
That is just incredible, Merna. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being here today. You've taught us so much, and I hope my viewers will want to go. Maybe we can go together. You can let me know, and I will tell you how to get up with Merna so she can give you the information and the tips that you need, because any kind of international travel is not good. Thank you for being here today for our first show, and please tune in next month.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun.